by Jordan today, and we're going to be talking about burnout. We're going to be talking about that grind set, that mindset, the one that gets you out there earning money. It might also push your children and your family away. So, we're going to be diving into some of the nuances of what it takes to be a grinder, when you are a grinder, some of the pitfalls that you can find and fall into, and some of our personal experiences with that, of which oh, we've got a number, right, Jordan?
So are you a big grinder guy?
I'm I used to grind in what are you gonna hit me with? I used to grind in World of Warcraft, but
Are,
now
are you
I'm
familiar? Are you familiar with what the app Grinder is?
oh my goodness. Okay, yes, I am familiar with Grindr. That is not where my mind was at all.
uh,
uh, I'm not a big grinder though. I've never been on the app. I've only
I've
been
never been.
in a group where someone who had the app said that they only had the app so that they could find other guys to play games with when they wanted to
Hmm.
have pickup basketball.
Hmm.
I don't know why people make excuses for grinder
Live your
apps.
life, dude. Yeah.
Live your life.
Yeah. Hey, I ain't judging nobody. Do whatever you want.
Exactly. But with that being said, I think we're just getting started here. We're just getting live. I think we're going to be getting all of the intro people in and all of that. Ooh, and it feels super nice. We've got Mel in the chat already,
As
dropping our
you
link, sharing it around.
as you were
That's
saying it, the notification pops up. That's beautiful, right there.
that's it makes me happy. It makes me happy to see. But yeah, with that, are you a grinder? Are you a side hustler?
No,
Are you a person who
no.
gets into
The
that grind
hardest
set
the
mindset
hardest I grind is to find a way to stop grinding.
to
Like,
enter the flow state?
the hardest I will ever work is to find a way to stop working.
I feel like that's almost the most intense pressure that you can get though is I don't want to work. And I know so the owner, our owner, Joey Matterhorn himself, he will talk about it often where he wants to work really, really hard right now so that he can relax and retire. I know my partner is the same way. She's like, I want to make sure that my savings are taken care of because if I do all of my work now, I get that grind set mindset done, that I can settle down and relax later on in life. And I think that's important. I think it's something to keep in mind. But there's definitely a couple of steps too far. Do you know anyone who has the grind set that you don't like because of that grind set?
Yes.
Like I'm trying to think of
I'm
I've got
not
a specific.
going to call people out by names on a podcast.
Oh, we're calling Mochi Nut out by name. They are the grind set mindset
I'll call
people.
brands out. Sure, I'll call brands out. I'll even call someone out that I don't know. Like if I have a bad experience with a Starbucks barista and I see her name is Ashley, I'm going to call Ashley out on the pod. But
Well,
I'm not going to sit here and call out my friends.
yeah, so I guess what I'm trying to get at is I saw a post today on LinkedIn from one of the more famous lawyers in our industry. So we work in marketing. There's a pretty famous TCPA defense lawyer. His name is Troutman. He does a lot of different TCPA lawsuits related things. But he made a post today talking about how if you didn't work this weekend, if you were relaxing this weekend, then you're behind. You're behind everyone who worked this weekend. And that was the gist of his post was, hey, so if you spent this weekend off, if you weren't at your desk and you weren't working, you're behind. You missed out on opportunity. You are not at the same level as the people who were doing that. And I have two questions. I want you to answer both of these. One, do you agree with that? Do you think that's true?
Do you want me to answer this now, or are you going to ask
Yeah,
both?
no. I want an answer to that one.
No. Well, yes, you do fall behind if you're not working. Obviously, that's how you fall behind. However, you're always going to be behind someone. You'll never be at the front of everything. I mean, maybe if you're, some Fortune 500 business, and you got millions of dollars in resources, but you are never going to be the leader of the pack of anything.
Yeah.
You're always going to find yourself somewhere in there. So if you fall a few spaces back versus going a few spaces forward, it's really not going to make a big difference. Live your life, enjoy the moments.
Yeah. So you think that if you are not grinding for the past 2 days, you are probably behind people who were
Yeah,
indeed grinding for the past 2 days.
yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
factually, sure. Now, two, Do you think you're missing out on life by grinding? Do you think those people
Absolutely.
who are grinding over the
Absolutely.
weekend?
Like people who like are like, oh, like you're not gonna be as successful in your business. It's like, okay, but like yeah, you are gaining a lot of things that we miss out on by doing that, but you are also missing out on a lot of the things that we gain by living our lives and just enjoying
I
ourselves.
That's the point. So that's what I think I wanted to get at is the idea of, hey, so if you weren't working, you're behind. Behind in what? Because what your
Exactly.
goal is extremely huge. So like if your mindset, grind set, blah 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 blah, if your goal is to make more money, then yeah, you might be behind if you didn't work this weekend and you spent it with your family. But if your goal is to live a fulfilling life, if your goal is to build community, if your goal is to be there for your family, be there with your loved ones, and then you work this past weekend, maybe you're behind. Like that's where I'm at is the perception of being behind or ahead for me, I think is, what is it? Beauty's in the eyes of the beholder. If you were grinding the past two days, if you were grinding over this weekend, I almost like my heart goes out to you because it makes me think that you don't have the family or the community or the people around you to, you know, dedicate that time or spend that time with.
Yeah.
And that's sucky.
It looks like we have
Oh,
two people talking here in the chat. It looks like we got Emily and Sarah in the chat. And it looks like they're talking about how can we perform at our best with no downtime. And I think that's the next best like argument against it. It's like your work is going to suffer if you don't give yourself the rest and downtime you need
yeah.
to put your best towards it. Like you're going to get drained if you just work all the time. And when you're drained, you're not going to be doing your best work.
No, and I want to draw a parallel here because I think this is a great story to kind of segue into. We get together and we play Dungeons and Dragons. We are huge nerds. I want you to rep your shirt. I'm not wearing mine, but we got Big Leaf shirts. We're part of the Big Leaf Role Play Collective. Uh, it's basically a bunch of buy-in from a bunch of old nerds who want to play Dungeons and Dragons and video games and trading card games together. We have a bunch of hobbies that we enjoy and we want to spend time as a group doing those things. So we all work together. We all work in marketing. We all have this like backdrop of knowledge and professional experience. When we come together to play Dungeons and Dragons, it's our downtime. We're not at work. We're not grinding. But you know
Somehow
what
we still
happens
get
every
to talk
single
about work every time we're
I was
there.
gonna say, but you know what happens every single time we get together to hang out? We talk about work, and it's not a we talk about work to like solve a problem. We don't have a scheduled meeting. It's a hey, we're talking about this barge that we're gonna go take over in our pirate campaign. Why do that made me think of this thing related to Xanadu.
So
Let me ping this idea.
this specific circumstance though is a little unique because what we play with four people, five
Yeah.
people, however many we have, and it's like okay, well the majority of them, there's only like one or two people who don't know anything about Xanadu, so it's like a topic that we can talk about that we always find ourselves falling back into. However, if I'm like at family Thanksgiving, I'm
Mhm.
probably not talking about work stuff too much. I might say like, "Oh, I built a website similar to that," or something like that. But I'm not going to sit here and discuss the inner workings or like what I have to do to grind.
Yeah, it's we're not sitting there at Thanksgiving dinner grinding. We didn't come together to play Dungeons and Dragons, or we came together to play Dungeons and Dragons, not to grind work. The point that I'm trying to get across is that when we get together, when you are doing other things, is when you're going to get the better ideas for work. You can't sit there and constantly be doing nothing but work because you're never going to have new ideas. You're never going to have downtime. You're never going to get like that brain rest period where you're able to think of new stuff. I always imagine it with spoons. So like you're sitting there juggling spoons for work all day long. You don't get to put them down and relax. You're never going to pick up new spoons. You're just
I just
juggling
like
the same
juggle.
spoons. Can you juggle?
I
Do you know how
can,
to juggle?
I can for like 3 or 4 seconds do one-handed juggling, like two balls with like one hand where you go like, with,
Oh,
I can do it for like 4 seconds and then I drop it.
what about
No, I
it's
can't.
like
I can't do three ball. I can
I'm
only do
trying
like
to picture it in my head and I'm like it is a very different motion, isn't it?
yes, and like it's his left hand coordination. I don't think I have the eye coordination for my left hand well enough.
Fair. But
I do want to stop us really
yeah.
quick to talk about one thing that Mel's going to be like, get back on topic, but we have an opportunity to potentially gain someone to our D&D group in the chat over here. Sarah, if you are ever interested in actually playing like a D&D one shot or something, let us know. We'll put together something. We'll get some people together. We'll meet up somewhere and play.
Yeah, we do D&D all the time. I absolutely love getting together and being able to do D&D, being able to kind of come together as a community.
I had to
One
put everything on pause because any chance you see to get a new person into D&D, you pull them in. You stop
Oh,
everything you're doing and you pull them in.
I mean, yes, but also at the same point, I don't think it's necessarily dropping everything. I think it's really pertinent to what we're chatting about, which is, hey, at the end of the day, D&D is part of community building. It's part of grind set mindset. Like you need to be in the mindset of turning off the grind and getting together with some of your coworkers not to work.
I'm
I
going
do
to
think
pitch for Joe. Sorry,
what's that?
finish your thought, then I'll go into
I
mine.
was
Sorry.
going to say, so I wanted to get the idea across, or maybe put the notion out there. Getting together with your coworkers, getting together with the people that you're ideating things with, working on new projects, and doing things not related to work, I think is extremely important. Because being able to build up those relationships outside of, hey, I need you to do this task for me, is really, really helpful. Now, there is some hey, work is work, it's not your family, definitely. But at the same time, when you have like that kind of working relationship where you're on the level of being friends and you can get along and you can communicate as well as get things done in a work sense, I think it's really important.
Yeah. So I think we need to convince Joe to every 2 weeks let us take 2 hours out of our week and just run like a little Good Rep Media D&D session for team building, problem solving, and just overall like creativeness.
Yeah.
You know,
Like
I think if you have a creative team, like a Good Rep, like a marketing team, if they took 2 hours a week or every other week 2 hours and played 2 hours of D&D, I think that team would be so close and would be like so like there's little skills you would gain. I truly believe.
well, and it's I do think it's like did you ever go to camp as a kid, as like a teen, and do
Not
team
really.
building
I went to
activities?
like one camp. Like I went like when I was in Boy Scouts, I went to one thing I think, but
When I was in high school and middle school and stuff like that, I was hugely, little background lore on Cody here. I was hugely religious. I actually converted my whole family and brought them all to church camps with me. So I did church camps every summer for a number of years. But one of the big events, or like one of the big activities that we would always do, and we would spend hours doing this every day, is team building. It's just a lot of getting a group of people together to solve a problem or do some menial task. At the end of the day, I mean, it's like, hey, getting together as a manager here and being like, hey, everyone here, we're going to build a website. Go do it. Go figure out how
Mhm.
to do it. And then you watch how they solve the problem. You watch how the team comes together to do the activity. Now, I think very similarly, they talk about doing team building exercises like bringing the whole team to a what's the escape room or something like that. Would you want
Mhm.
to do that as a team? Do you think
I
that
would
would be
do
a
that.
good?
I would love to do that as a team. I think that'd be
See,
great.
I think that would be great. But then, do you think that's because we have a cool company and culture around us, or do you think that's because in general that would be a good activity?
I think in general that would be a good activity. I think
Okay.
that's in the same vein as what I'm saying of like getting everybody together for a D&D. I think it builds very similar skills.
Yeah.
Um, I think like it would be tough to like every 2 weeks do because
Yeah.
I think repetition is big. I think it really helps hammer home kind of the
Mhm.
skills you gain and everything. So like to do a escape room every 2 weeks, you'd have to find one that's changing up pretty often or find a lot of
Well,
them.
and it's I those types of things are a little bit different. So like when you get together as a team to participate in an escape room, or you get together to go out to a dinner or something like that, it's much more of one time event. It's not a consistent team building exercise. Now, I don't think we would want to do a team building exercise every other week. I think that's probably a little bit often. But if there were a standing once a month thing where it was like, hey, every
Sports
month,
teams,
the
sports
third
teams practice.
Thursday, what's that?
I said sports teams practice every day.
I mean,
You know,
true, but we work 40 hours and we're in the office every day. So,
I didn't say
well,
40 hours.
I was gonna say in the office, but it's I don't know. I think it's a little bit different for us. If we were, I mean, if we wanted to be the best marketing agency in the entire world and we wanted to have every single client,
We
then
not.
yeah, you probably do need to be on that mindset, grind set. But Mel in the chat, she asked, "Do you think the grind mindset is based on personality, experience, or both?" And I'm curious your thoughts. I've got an opinion,
Personality.
but
I think your personality is shaped by your experience. So in a way, both. But I think that's a cop out answer. I think ultimately the answer is your personality.
yeah.
There are people from birth who just like are born and are just like go go go. Very
Mhm.
very proactive people, and there are people who aren't. And I think that weighs into it the most.
Yeah. I will say, from my personal experience, I feel as though I am entering a different period of my life. So
Hmm.
I think it has much more to do, less based on personality or experience. Those are both huge. Obviously, where I'm at in my life has to do because of my personality and my experiences. But right now, I would attribute it a lot more to where someone is at in their life, what stage of their life they're at,
Yeah.
um because those stages of life are very different. So I know for me personally, and I'm just going to describe like my pathway from like 18 to now, because I'm 31. I've been out for a little while. So out of high school, I was in a I'm still a kid mindset. I have no idea what the real world is. I went to college, slowly get exposed to it. And then I got out of college and I wanted my first job. I got my first big boy job and I was like making real money. And I didn't feel push for drive. I wasn't thinking about retirement or the future. I didn't have this like idea of preparing myself for what's coming. I had my idea of living in the now. And so I
Yeah.
spent most of my 20s living in the now, not worrying about grinding or anything like that. I hit my later 20s and I felt that mindset shift. Like they say, oh, you mature or you hit full maturity at 25. Well, I feel like I 27, 28, I finally started having the okay, I need to like plan for future, plan for retirement. I need to get my health on lock. And it was a very conscious shift. And I want to attribute it almost to my like hormones or something in my head shifting. Like I felt a maturity happen in me. And all of a sudden I was like, okay, let me focus on my job. Let me focus on getting my life in order. And I will say 100% in the past year since like locking in, I felt that lock in. Like I have felt a mental shift in myself to be like, okay, I'm going to focus on work. This is a priority. And I think that has to do with more of my stage of life than it has to
Yeah.
do with any experience I've had.
Yeah, it was funny you started saying that, and like I started kind of breaking down, like, okay, well, how do I view my stages of my
Yeah.
life? And I was like, okay, well, I view like all the way up through high school, like the entire time, like be it when I lived in Detroit versus when I lived in Lansing, like all of that still kind of one period of my life,
Mhm.
similar mindset. Then when I went off to college, um, I feel like there was a whole new one that kind of took place, and like I started getting really bad anxiety towards the end of college, and
Mhm.
then I think that once I left college to kind of start like the post college stage, that kind of really led into a lot of me kind of improving a lot of things. It sucks that like it took crippling anxiety to be the catalyst for a lot of improvements, but like I look back on college, I don't remember reading a textbook. I'm sure I read one a few
Yeah.
times, but I don't remember ever doing like the homework side of college. And like that was like so irresponsible of me. And now that I've gone through this whole like anxiety riddled adulthood, and like now
With the
I get anxious just thinking about like the days I would go to class and be like, I didn't do any of the stuff I had to do, And now I'm like, and like also I wish I had done it because I think I would have gained so much more value out of all that money I spent on college.
Yeah. Well, and it's recognizing like the changes that you would make, the different periods of life are just absolutely insane. And so I want to draw back to Mel. She was talking
Mhm.
about at 16 I had 3 jobs. One was mostly a side gig, but I focused heavily on work and school. All I wanted was to succeed and I was scared to fail. Do you think school pushes the grind mindset too much?
I think school pushes a lot of things too much.
Yeah.
I think that it's hard for like an institution to teach anybody how to look at things because
Mhm.
everybody's going to look at things a little differently. And so, like, for school, like, yeah, school should be pushing, like, hey, Make sure you, because I think we can all agree the healthier thing to do is to be the person who like at least grinds a little bit. You know, you don't want to be the person who doesn't grind. You don't want to be me in college. You
Yeah.
know, you
I,
don't want that. That's bad. And
I
so
do want to.
pushing that
I
is
don't. I don't want to interrupt, but I do want to like point this out because you're touching on it, and I want to like nail this point home. Um, we feel fear for a reason. We feel shame for a reason. When you don't do something, like you mentioned going to your classes and you know that you didn't read your textbook and you know that whatever, you're going to feel shame. You're going to feel anxiety. And it's worth noting, and I'm sorry if you're hearing this and this is a real shock, you should. You
yeah.
should feel shame because you're not doing something you should be doing. There's a reason we have these emotions,
There,
and you need to listen to them.
there's
Like
a key.
you talk about anxiety, and Jordan, I want to be clear. Anxiety sucks. I've got it, and it's too much sometimes. There's like your body gives you anxiety for no fucking reason, and that's so awful. But also, sometimes you need that anxiety. Like when
Yeah.
you have that anxiety, like if you lose your job and you're anxious because, oh, I don't have a job and I need it, you need that anxiety. Use it.
Mhm.
Use that anxiety to go get a new job.
There's a comedian. So I grew up watching stand-up comedy my
Mhm.
entire life. And so I love stand-up comedy. One of my favorite comedians growing up was someone named Christopher Titus.
Mhm.
He used to have like a TV show. He did a special that was called Norman Rockwell is Bleeding, and he has a bit in there where he does like pretty much what you're saying. He's like, you're supposed to be worried about like like what you're gonna do in the morning. You're supposed to be worried about how the bills get paid. Do you want to know why? He's like, because that's how the fucking bills get paid.
Yeah. I must have I probably have seen that exact same stand up or at least a clip of it or something because it is very true. Now, I want to on the flip side of the coin, anxiety is really mean. Anxiety can be mean to you for no reason. Like I know, Jordan, you and I have talked. I'll have anxiety before talking to like one of my employees when I have to like ask them to do something, and I'm like, that's literally their job. They're getting paid to do it. Why am I getting anxiety before giving them a task? It's like, oh well, I don't want to overburden. I don't want to step on toes. I don't want to like push something. And what at the end of the day, their onus is on them to tell me the thing. I don't need to overthink that scenario, but that's what anxiety will do to you. And so in those scenarios, it's worth acknowledging that anxiety doesn't help you. When that anxiety is not helping you, I think that's one of the therapeutic techniques that I've most benefited from. Is this anxiety benefiting me? Is this feeling that I'm feeling benefiting me in some way? Do I need this feeling?
Yeah.
And sometimes it's no, you just need to feel it and let it go its route. So
Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I just think it's really important to tie home. There are feelings that are out there. There's anxiety and depression, and those are real tough. But sometimes you need that shame.
Yeah.
Sometimes you do need that push.
I had like a little recognition like I've known I've had anxiety pretty heavily since college, like I said, but
Mhm.
like I had like a moment where like I was like, oh yeah, this is true anxiety, and I know that for a fact because so I told you like when I came home from my brother's wedding, I had a layover, and I told you the story about how I like almost missed the flight during a layover. So
Mhm.
like yeah, um I still think about when I walked up to that counter and was like, I need to get on that plane, and like them being like, no, and like that's still like I get the feeling in my chest like I am missing that plane all over again just thinking about it.
Mhm. And those types of feelings when you get that anxiety level, that's a little bit too much. But I do want to we're getting some good comments. I'm here for this. So, but I want to get back
We're
to it.
talking about good things. We're prompting good
Yeah. But
conversation.
we were talking about, do you think school pushes the grind mindset too much? And I want to say flat out, my experience in school was probably maybe a little bit different. I was like the gifted kid who they didn't worry about, but I didn't have any pressure or care. So I never did homework. I never had anything that I had to bring home. So when I went to college, I never studied because I
Yeah,
never learned because I didn't have to like build up those skills. I didn't know how to do like cards to like write your vocab on. I didn't highlight textbooks because I never needed to. And so my school didn't put in any type of grind set mindset. I didn't have to try. So I had the complete opposite of the grind set where I didn't need to try at all and I needed to figure out how to start trying at 18 years old. And if I'm being realistic, I had to figure out how to start trying at like 20
So
because the first couple years of college were the same.
so my school it did kind of try to implement like this grind set mindset onto you, but I was also from a tiny school. I had 54 kids in my graduating class,
Oh yeah,
like very small
tiny.
school. And like we were like FFA state champions, Future Farmer of America state champions, and like national runners up like while I was in school. And so like we had like sheep in our like we had a barn behind the school that we'd raise sheep. Like I watched my best friend like birth a goat. like
One of your classes was animal farm
yeah,
birthing?
it was called AP Bio. Like it was not AP Bio, it wasn't AP, it was Ag Bio, AG Bio.
Ag bio.
Yes,
Oh, okay.
agricultural bio. And yeah,
That's
like
kind of
we
sick.
raised chickens in the school. We killed them in the school. Like, and it
Okay.
was everybody's favorite day, not because we wanted to kill chickens, but because those chickens made the school smell so fucking bad. Dude, like we were like just kill them and get rid of them.
Jesus. Kids are scary,
But
man.
but
Like
the
what?
sorry, the reason I say that is like we were taught like a grind set mindset in like a like very physical sense. Like
Yeah.
get up there and do it. And like I do see that like reflecting a lot on me like as an adult now that I'm like actually like right here right now thinking about it. Like my Friday gig, they're like, hey, would you mind not doing your normal job this Friday and helping us like move stuff? And I'm like, fuck yeah, let's go. Like I'll just get up there and just start moving things. Like if there's like ever like, hey, we need to clean this up, I'll be like the first one like, all right guys, let's go. And I'll just start doing it. Like
Yeah.
I think that that's kind of what my high school kind of put into my head, versus I don't want to read things. We were a bunch
Well,
of dumb hillbillies.
and I think that's a good skill to have. It's worth noting. So when we were in office, part of our company is we have a couple of different e-commerce companies, one of which is a coffee company. So we had flat out coffee get delivered to our office and call of hands, will someone help us unload these
Yeah.
giant crates of coffee? Like, let's go get this out. And yeah, 100%. I think that's where I lived, my class was a little bit larger, but it was also in the country. So we had a lot
Yeah.
of farmers. And I think, I'll be real, I think it's almost a farming or an agricultural mindset of if
It's a very blue collar mindset.
yeah, well, it's if it's going to get done, you're going to do it. Like it's not going to get done unless you do it. Like if you work on a farm and you're a farmer, the job's not going to get done unless you do it. So you need to go do it. And it falls back on like one of my philosophies in life is think about it, be about it. If you think about a task, oh, I really should wipe down the counter. Go wipe down the counter. You had enough time to think about it. You have enough time to do it. Now that doesn't always work. Think about it, be about it isn't you can't go do laundry. Like I thought about that right before this live started, but I don't want to start laundry and then have it sit there damp before I can go put it in the dryer. Stuff like that. But it's that blue collar mindset of like, hey, this needs to get done. I'm gonna be the one to do it. Let's get it done.
Yeah. I've tried to implement a little bit more of that, like think about it. But what do you say? Think about it,
Think
be
about
about
it,
it.
be about it.
Yeah. I've tried to implement that a little bit more like recently a lot.
Hmm.
I'm still pretty bad at it, like there's like little things like I got my dishwasher loaded, ready to go. All I gotta do is add water to it because I got like a portable dishwasher, not like a inbuilt one. And I'm like, all I gotta do is add water to it. It's already got the dish pod in it and everything. And it's just like all I gotta do is do it. And I just keep not doing it.
Yeah. Well, and it's crazy to think about, and it's worth noting, everyone listening, that's a real thing. Everyone struggles with that. That's not. I think sometimes I get into this mindset of like, oh, I struggle with this like weird random thing that like is really bothersome. Like for example, doing dishes or putting water in. Like my whole struggle is if I load things into a dishwasher, I'll forget about them, so I won't use the dishwasher. But Cassidy, my partner, will. So if she
Mhm.
starts loading up the dishwasher, I won't even think to check it. I won't think to load it or like unload it or do anything about it because I'll just wash the dishes myself. But just think about it, be about it. If you're thinking about doing the dishwasher, you got to do the whole thing start to finish.
Yeah. I'm also very much a big like just keep doing it mindset kind of
Yeah.
person. Like once I've started something, like I'm very much like if you like cleaning's a big one of mine where like I'm like I get pretty dirty. Like I clutter really bad.
Mhm.
And when I finally
I was
do
one sec. Pause. When you say that, I get dirty and I create clutter are two different things.
Yes,
You're not dirty.
I'm
You do
not
not
dirty.
have dirty mud and like
Yeah, no.
poop around
I got like
and like whatever
dust, and I will admit maybe like candy wrappers, snack wrappers, stuff like that.
clutter.
And I try and do a good job of like every week at least getting together, getting all that cleaned up, and getting rid of that. But like sometimes it gets really bad, and like my anxiety will get to a point where I'm like, where do I even start with this? And
Yeah.
then that's when like I'm almost like just start. Doesn't matter where. If you do one thing, just keep doing one thing, even if they're little tiny things. Just keep doing one thing, one thing, one thing, one thing, and then eventually you'll have all the things.
Yeah. Okay. I'm here for this. I wanted to bring it back because we've had some really good questions and I'm here for answering these. I do think 3 jobs at 16 is too much. Melanie came back and was asking. So my parents always
Yeah.
pushed me to do my best, and she pushed herself even further. Eventually, she hit a wall. It was too much, but it did help her learn her limits at a young age, especially before college. Do you think working before college is a good idea? Should someone work in
Yes.
high school?
Yes.
100% of the time.
Yes.
I agree. When did you have a first job in high school?
I wasn't like on a payroll. My mom worked at Avis, and like I would just
Oh,
go in like 2 days out of the week and like go in there and do that.
so
Um
so.
and then like I would do like various farm jobs at like one of the farmers down the road. And then there's a handful of other things I would do too. Um yeah, like a real estate guy I would help like trash out houses and stuff like that.
Yeah, just a lot of like random things that you happen to get out there because I feel maybe it's a little bit different now, but when I was 14, 15, 16, there was no end to the things that I could go do. Like if I there were days where someone would look at me and be like, "You have too much energy. Come rake my lawn." And I'd be like, "Okay, so I guess I'm gonna go rake my pastor's lawn." And then, like you said, where you're like, "Hey, so you're already on a task," I'd rake his lawn, finish, and be like, "Well, I kind of want to keep raking, so I guess I'm gonna go over to Gary's house and also do his." Like that type of thing was just the norm for me, and I
Yeah.
think that more than anything else, we talk about grind set mindset, and I keep saying grind set mindset. That type of mindset is much more important than the grind set mindset because those are different in my head. Or do you think that they're different?
Yeah, yeah. Like there's a clear difference between like someone who's got that like 100% I'm always grinding. That's all life is a grind. And then people who are like,
Mhm.
no, I'm just like I'm efficient and I get the job done. Like, or not maybe efficient isn't the word. Like, but like I
I'm
do
willing to step up and do the job
exactly.
and get the thing done regardless.
Yeah.
And if there's a job to be done, I'll do it. They're not purposely going out there. I do think the goal of the tasks is maybe worth accounting for. If you're in a grind set mindset, your goal is to make money. I feel like that's always the goal. It
I don't know. So hold on. I don't know that it is because I think sometimes like for people in that like as long as we're talking about it in the same way and saying like grind set mindset is that person who is like, hey, it's Thanksgiving, but I'm still working right now. Like if that's what we're talking about, I don't think that the money is the driving thing for them. I think it's the ability to be like, hey, look at me, I'm working. You
you think
know?
it's the optics,
Yes.
which I mean, that's so I don't want to touch on this. We've talked about being political and not being political, but that strikes me as hitting the performative aspect real hard where the people because they're so maybe we need to add like a third qualification here because there are people who grind, there are people who don't want to grind, and then there are people who talk about grinding, you know?
Mhm.
The people who are constantly saying, "I'm grinding, I'm at work, I'm doing this thing, I'm always here." But what are they actually doing?
Yeah. I bet those people are working probably at medium level. I bet the people who are really fucking grinding, the ones who are really got their nose to the dirt and are going at it, you don't hear a word from them.
Well, and that's funny that you say that because I know one of like the main things that came out, like one of the memes, I don't know how else to describe it. Like one of the memes that came out around the grind set mindset when COVID was first coming around was uh the like Chad face being like, you won't know it, but I'm gonna go heads down. I'm gonna disappear for a year and I'm gonna come back stronger. Like it was the I'm gonna disappear for a year.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm gonna go grind for a year outside of your eyes. I'm gonna go build my skills. I'm gonna go do this thing for myself outside of the public eye, and I'm gonna come back different. And I
Mm-hmm.
remember that being like the initial push for this grind set mindset guru, whatever, was hey, take yourself off social media. Stop being performative. And now I feel like there's this whole monetization, there's this whole industry built around being the performative alpha male, taking the whatever, making sure that you can make all the money, grind it all out. And was it you and I that had the conversation? It might have been Eric and I when we had the conversation about the ads that people are getting sent and shown for like grind set mindset
Yeah,
stuff.
it
Was that
wasn't
you and
me.
I?
No, it wasn't me.
Oh my goodness. Oh, I don't want to get too deep into it because
I
they're
have to
real rough.
imagine it's very cringe. I picture it being very frat bro cringy
Well,
almost.
it's
Like
so we were trying to explain this to Joey
or
Matterhorn.
alpha male.
Yeah, well, and it is very much alpha male, and it's if you follow some of these ads that talk about the grind set mindset, and you get into that performative atmosphere because it is the people who are being performative with it. Um, and we were joking a little bit about this, so forgive me for some of our sensitive viewers if this is whatever. But it was the ads for these guys are you don't know how to have sex with your girlfriend, you don't know how to please women, your PP is small, and you don't know how to make money. So learn how to make money, otherwise you're never going to be able to please a woman. You filthy cuck boy. Like that's what the
Ugh,
ad funnel is for these guys. Like
that's
people talk about male
it's
loneliness,
just attacking their
attacking
ego.
their masculinity
Yeah.
repeatedly. That's all it is men attacking other male
Hold
masculinity
on, I'm writing notes.
so that they'll spend money on their shitty little course to be a little guru and do their dropship business. And it's awful. It's an awful mindset. It's an awful like industry in general. And you know me, how do you describe me? I've said it a couple of times since then. You like I have difficulty being mean. Like I have difficulty fucking watching those ads and seeing how
Mhm.
people interact with them and being like this actually converts.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
that's crazy.
Not
Uh,
not to go off, but have you seen those ads where it's like,
I have not.
hey,
No,
no,
those
oh.
are not targeting me.
Well, it's
uh,
I I feel like I get into trouble because as Good Rep, for anyone who doesn't know, we are part of Good Rep Media, which is a small business marketing agency. We help small businesses get ranked on Google. We help build websites. We do all of that fun stuff. Part of that for me is going through ad funnels, clicking on these different ads that I see, figuring out how other marketers, how other people are experiencing the ad space, marketing in general. What is working? What's not working? What are interesting funnel ideas? So, for example, one of my friend owns an agency, Mikey, you know him, and I
mhm,
go through his funnels every time I see a new one, every time he comes up with a new idea, because I think he has really interesting takes on how to get someone to convert. He's a small one-off, one-guy operation, so he has to be really creative with it. I don't convert on his stuff. I'm not his target audience, but I will go through his ads because I think it's interesting and it helps me learn. So
yeah.
I end up with my ads are so bad. I get all of the awful ads.
Mm, yeah. Yeah, I've had pretty consistent ads for like the past like year. It's been crazy. I don't even know where they came from.
Is it all the divvy ads?
No, I do get some divvy ads. I will admit I get divvy ads, and I do know where those come from. Every now and then, I also get like what? Oh my god, why am I drawing a blank on what it's called? CMS.
Oh,
I got I'll get like Zapier things and stuff like that, but like
all the plugins.
or HubSpot.
You know it. Those are always super interesting because though those ads are the generic big ones. And like, okay, so SEMrush. If you click on a SEMrush ad, you expect that to be the gold standard for SEO and optimization. You expect that ad to be good. And then you kind of realize that their funnels suck on a lot of these big ads. And they're really just getting by on like brand name recognition because if you're going to use something for SEO, you're going to look at SEMrush. They don't need a good funnel for it to work. They just need to get you in there. And I'll be
Mhm.
honest, it's kind of bad. I've gone through like 5 or 6 different SEMrush reps. None of them have been consistent. And
Yeah.
every single time I reach out, they need to add me a new one.
You
Like,
want to know what's crazy?
what?
You didn't start going to the SEMrush reps until after I had gone to the SEMrush reps, and I went through 3 of them.
So we went through a total of like 6, 7, 8 of them. Like, too many. 6, 7. You're so funny. Oh my god. Okay, so with that, that's us. That's the Joey Matterhorn lunch.
Yeah, we're gonna cut this off 20 minutes early.
Cody crashes out live on stream. You ready for it?
I didn't know in order to like shut the podcast down early, all I had to do was a 6-7 jump.
Oh my
I
god.
lost my shit at the Friendsgiving when 6-7 won a Jackbox thing. Like I was like, we were all adults. Like we were all adults.
It was like 5 or 6 30-plus-year-old people and 1 child, and 6-7 won. The thing was, that was me, man. Mine was a 6-7. I'm still, I'm not proud of it. Did I win? Yeah, but I'm not proud of
it. Nothing will get me out of a party faster than like a Jackbox of people who like just like I do not align with. Like I will make a joke. Like I had some heat in the like 2 games of Jackbox we played, and like they didn't get the respect they deserved at all. And I was like, all right, I'm out.
my Jackbox isn't being respected. That's it. Peace.
Yeah, no faster way to get me to leave your party.
I do want to, before we get too far, because I had an interesting take, and I think that this is something that more people should talk about. And I'm curious how others would feel about this, because Sarah mentioned something really interesting. She said, you've messed up your algorithms, or you've messed your algorithms all up. LOL. Facts.
Yes.
But on your personal social media accounts, when your friends or family or significant other send you their TikToks to view, and you interact with the TikToks that they send you, I had someone describe that as a form of intimacy to me, because you're letting them impact your algorithm. When you send me a video and I like it and I interact with it, it didn't show up on my page, it's on yours, and I'm interacting with it for you. So that's almost like a layer of intimacy that it's a completely new and different. It's completely like separate from anything we know, but it almost is. If I let you mess up my algorithm, like that is a thing. Is it a big deal? No.
I had a friend that I'd send so many memes back and forth, like we'd just sit there and laugh at him to the point where like I would open every single one that he would send me without thinking about it. So whatever he sent, I'm gonna open it. And he took advantage of that, and then he just sent me like 10 like randomly throughout all of them. Like they're like Boston Scally. What is this? These hats right here. All right, guys, coming at you with the Halloween collection. These Boston Scally, like it's just some Boston guy talking about his hats. So this is a little bit different than what we do.
Okay.
Now, like he intentionally did it just to destroy my algorithm, so it turned all into these like Boston guy just talking about his hats.
Well, and that's unironically, that's an attack. That's a prank, bro. Get pranked.
Terrorism.
But it's just really interesting to me to make that comparison, and especially when I'm seeing people like Sarah in here, when you're messing your algorithms all up, when you let or invite someone in to mess up your algorithm, I think that's definitely a form of intimacy. Yeah. When if someone is sending you, or you're sending someone TikToks, if you're sending someone short form video and they're interacting with it and they're interacting with you, like recognize that as, hey, that's friendship right there. Yeah. And I think that is a layer of when we were kids, because I'm sure you had friends on Skype or TeamSpeak way back when, before Discord was around, and your friends or your parents were like, you're online friends that aren't real. These aren't real people that exist. Like, mother trucker, Blake lives in like Wyoming. He's there. He lives. Like, what are you talking about?
My parents didn't know any of my virtual friends. They didn't even know I was up there talking. I had a computer in my bedroom, and I'm convinced they did not know what the hell I was doing on that thing. Like, they knew I was playing World of Warcraft because my mom was paying for World of Warcraft, but like, she didn't know what World of Warcraft is. She'll be like, "What are you doing?" When I have my laptop up north, I'll be like, "I'm playing World of Warcraft," and she's like, "No fucking way."
like these days, she's like,
Yeah,
still?
yeah. Like it'll probably happen this Christmas.
She's like, after all this time,
Yeah,
always.
you're still paying for it, Mom. No,
It's still on your card. I've just never canceled it.
$15 a month the past 25 years.
Jeez. Oh my god. And unironically, that was such an expensive subscription. See, I did RuneScape, and RuneScape was $4.99.
Yep. I did RuneScape before I did WoW.
I couldn't get the WoW subscription through, but
yeah, I don't know how I convinced my mom to get me that.
Anyways, bring us back to grind set mindset. I think the major takeaway, like I want to get across, is there are people that are out there grinding. And if you're out there grinding and you're out there trying to figure something out and get something done, good fucking luck and Godspeed. Like, I wish you the best.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's extremely hard.
I have a lot of respect for someone who can grind 100% 24/7.
Yeah.
Respect it. Where I start to lose the respect is when you push that onto me.
Oh,
that's when
I was going to say that's going to segue
yes.
into understanding. Hey, some people are at different periods of their life. When you are in that grind set mindset, don't think you're better than others. When you look at that 20-year-old who's in college and they're going out and they're partying, and you're like, you should be partying, you should be grinding. Why aren't you wearing a suit and tie and going to meetings for your local board? No, that person's 20 years old and they're experiencing life for the first time. When you look at someone in their 50s and they're talking about getting together with their family and they're really excited to rent out a house and, have everyone they can over together because Thanksgiving's their favorite holiday, don't guilt them. Don't be like, oh, you're not grinding. I'm going to get ahead of you. Because that's not helpful. That's not beneficial. That's someone who's living their life. And you need to have more respect in general for people.
And what's funny is, like, how ahead of them are you really getting? Like, ultimately, like, with the next day on Black Friday, when you look back at it, are you really that much further ahead than that person who spent Thanksgiving with their family?
Well, at the end of the day, comparison's the thief of joy. Why are you, I'm ahead of that person over there? Is that really matter? Does that make you better than them? Are you really better than any other human being? And then this is where I would go off and wax philosophically of, hey, every human life is a human life. Do you think that your human life is inherently worth more than someone else's? Because those are the types of mindsets that get really problematic very quickly when you start thinking that you're the only logical thinker. That's where I get into the mindset of people talk about NPCs. Oh, everyone's an NPC. When you start calling everyone around you an NPC and they're not real people, you need to get a reality check.
Well, you really need to kind of check and see if you might be considered a narcissist at that point.
Yeah.
That's like textbook definition narcissism.
Yeah. People exist. People have other thoughts and feelings outside of you. Being in that grind set mindset is really good. Like, get your things done. Do what you can. Don't disparage others who are not in that same mindset. And also, don't stress yourself out and kill yourself to be in that grind set mindset. Take breaks. Take care of yourself. You don't need to do what everyone else is doing. Like, I'm mentioning holidays, and I think this is a difficult one because it was just around Thanksgiving, which happy Thanksgiving, happy birthday. But if you don't celebrate those holidays, if you don't want to be a part of that, sure, work over the holiday, but take time for yourself, take time for your community. Like, you don't need to do it when everyone else does it. I think that's worth noting because night owls and shit exist.
Yeah.
Humans don't all exist on the same
holidays
schedule.
are just days, those don't have to be the time that you choose. Like just because it's important to a lot of people doesn't mean that has to be important to you, but it should still be important to at least take some time to enjoy not grinding.
Yeah.
But again, also, I'm not going to sit here and judge you for not either. Like, again, I have no problem with people who want to grind. It's when you make it your personality or you push it on other people that it starts to kind of irk me.
Yeah, when you start getting judgy and all of that. And I do think in general, not everyone's a grinder. Not everyone's at that point in their life. And I'm curious. So when I mentioned period of life, do you think there was a period of your life where you felt more like a grinder, or do you think
I'm currently in that?
You think you're in your grind set right now?
I still have a lot of like residual issues from prior when I was like a super lazy kid to like a lazy student to now. Like I definitely have issues that I'm still working through. I have bad days where I don't work very well at all. You know that I try to
Yeah.
do it whenever I do. Like, and I think that that is again a residual from being that not grinding when I was young.
Yeah.
Now, like I am trying hard to not be like that anymore, and so I think now I'm kind of in that the closest I have to a grind set mindset.
Yeah, well, and it's we keep saying grind set mindset, and I'm like, it's much more of like a growth mindset, in my opinion,
I
because
wish we had
I'm
a counter. We should have a. I wish we had like a little AI counter in the top corner
oh my
that counted
god,
every time we said grind set mindset.
oh my goodness, we should have.
Oh, that would have been great. We're gonna have to edit the video before we post the video up officially live.
I was gonna say, I'm like, wait. Is there a way that we can get? Maybe we will get that going
We-
because I want to. What my point that I was trying to get across is this whole idea that the grind set mindset is much more for me a mindset of growth. Ding. And like growth involves more than just earning more money and building up your abilities. So for example, I am working on a side YouTube channel and doing Magic the Gathering and like enjoying my own time. I don't know if I would consider that grinding or if I would consider that just me working on like myself and my growth and my abilities because I am doing a thing, but I'm not coming into it with the idea of making money. And that's where I think my hang up is like this.
Grind. You don't have to be making money to be grinding. Like
No. But
grinding is just.
would you call that
I think.
YouTube channel
I
grinding?
think. Well, maybe. I think there are parts of it that become grindy. So like, it's a hard thing to look at so binary. You know,
yeah.
like whether it is or isn't, whatever. Like
The
grind
world's
set
not black and white,
mindset.
it's shades of gray.
Yeah. Grind set mindset ding isn't just like this like it's on, it's off. It's like a it's not about the mindset as much as it is about the act. There's only one action, and that's grinding. You know, and that applies to in my mind, that's when you are doing something, even when you do no longer want to do that one thing. You know, you are at a point where it's like, okay, I don't want to be doing this right now, but I'm going to do it anyways. You are now grinding.
Okay. So you think it has to do with a mental like a if you don't want to do the thing, if you're pushing past your limits, if you're going even further beyond plus ultra, that's
Yes.
that's when we're doing the thing. So I can get that. So then 100% my YouTube channel is not that because I thoroughly enjoy doing all of my YouTube stuff and it makes me a lot of joy. So similarly, what if someone were now I'm like, let's test this. Sorry. What if someone really enjoys driving around in their car listening to audiobooks and they're just door dashing while they do it? Is that a grind or are they just hanging out?
No, like again, because if it's something that you want, like it's like even if I wasn't making money, driving around listening to my audiobook while I'm driving is something that I would be doing right now anyways. No, I don't think that's a grind. If it's like oh no, a new game just came out and I got to get out there and do my deliveries, but I don't mind doing it, but I would rather be playing this new game right now, then it becomes a grind because now you're out there doing the thing even when you don't want to.
I guess that's fair. So there's definitely time periods where I have to record an episode and I'm like, I don't want to do this. Like, I don't have the time. So I have to make the
That's when
time.
you're grinding.
So that's
why
a
I'm like,
grind.
that's why I'm like, yeah, your YouTube channel, you shouldn't say like, is my YouTube channel like a grind or not? It's like, it can be at times, but that doesn't mean that it always is.
I like that. I do like that interpretation of it a lot. And I do want to, before we're getting towards the final minutes here, and Mel made a really good point, and I think this is a word to get across. Discipline.
Discipline.
I think that's a huge
I lack it so much, dude.
Yeah.
That's my biggest problem. And you'd think I don't because I went like 6 months on that diet. Which I just started again today. I was going to start. Sorry, real quick. I just want to say I'm starting it again today. I was going to start it at New Year's, but I just hit like 20 pounds again, like gained back on. So like, I'm like, nope, I'm not going to Christmas looking like this. So I'm going to try and lose as much as I can now before Christmas and then continue.
Starting it today?
Yeah.
Props. Heck yeah. Well, with that, Everyone, wish Jordan good luck on his month-long journey before we get to
I think
Christmas
I'm gonna
here.
keep going after that though. But
Oh,
like,
100%.
it's like I'm doing this now just to see where I can get to before I see my family at the end of the month. And then after that, because I plan to have started it on New Year's, and that's when I'm gonna like
Yeah.
really dive into it. I think I'm just gonna do like 12 to 8 right now, and
Okay.
then once New Year's start, I'm gonna go back to the 1 to 7.
Tighten it up a little. So, what's your goal and what's your payoff?
So right now, the only goal I have set is for the end of the month, and that's 10 pounds
Okay.
end of the month.
Okay.
Um, and then I kind of have some ideas for like a yearly goal once I start at New Year's,
Okay.
where it's going to be like a couple stages, kind of like quarterly goals.
Okay. See, I'm kind of here for that. I think I want to make my goal. Honestly, I'm looking at it and I need to get working out more. I want to lift. I want to go get into the gym.
Yes,
And I think that's where my next thing is. I don't have your discipline with food. I'll be real. I
I
cut
have.
off.
I've said this many times. I don't have good discipline with what I eat. If I am craving something, I will eat that thing. If I want a burger today, I will go get a burger. I don't care if it's like a triple whopper or whatever. I'll eat anything. I can only control when I eat.
Yeah.
I can sit there hungry and be like, "God, I'm hungry" for a long time.
Hmm. And yeah, I grew up with food scarcity. So if anyone's ever experienced food scarcity or anything like that, it is very difficult to prevent yourself from food when you want food, especially when you have the means and the capability for it. So I have always dealt with immense difficulties surrounding food because now I can afford it and I have a car and I can just go get whatever I want whenever I want and no one's going to guilt me over it
Yeah.
or make me feel bad or tell me that we can't afford it. So
And I basically live in a Walmart part or Meyer
oh my.
parking lot, which for those of you not in like the Midwest, Meyer basically a Walmart, but a little nicer in my opinion.
I was gonna
Um,
say I like to say it's nicer than Walmart.
yeah. So I could have food all the time, and so what I do is I try to make myself work for it a little bit more. It was blizzarding 2 nights ago, and I walked through it to Meyer to still go get my stuff because I was like, I'm not going to drive there. It's right there. It's walking distance. I'm just going to walk and get it, burn a little bit of calories, and then I don't keep my cupboard full of food. I have almost no food at all times here. It's like I will go get the food I want.
See, and I mean, one, that's crazy. I could never in a million years. You're a psychopath. But two, also kind of smart because it makes you go walk and like get your
Mhm.
food and like it gets you out of the house to go do the thing. So you're still a psychopath, but also like maybe props.
Yeah. And like I might get like some snacks or something if like I know like oh like it's a Friday night, I'm gonna be gaming tonight with the boys. Like I might grab like some snacks for later or something then. But like dinner and stuff like that, which to be honest, I have a tiny kitchen and I don't like cooking in it very much. So
Mhm.
I don't cook as much as I should. But like even then it's like, okay, I'm gonna go get the stuff I'm gonna cook for dinner the day I'm gonna cook that dinner.
Yeah. Which I mean, not having enough space for cooking does suck, I will say. I am so thankful that we have a large enough kitchen area to actually get all of the cooking that we would need to do done. And I'm not even a huge cook, but I enjoy cooking enough to like get out there and do
What's
some
what's
things.
crazy is I do enjoy cooking. I really enjoy cooking. If I had a big kitchen to cook at, I would cook a lot more. And if I had someone else that I was cooking for, but it's just for me. So like it's like even if I like you'll get bummed if like you cook like the best thing you've ever had, and then like the only person to try it is you. You know,
One
it's like oh this
one
is upsetting.
100%. It is, and it's crazy because I think for me in my position at this point, like, okay, if I were all of a sudden, heaven forbid, like Cassidy passed and I'm all by myself again, I think I would need to I would find an old person near me to cook for or something. Like
Yeah.
that's 100. I would need to like do something because I know for me, I have this is where the discipline and the accountability is very difficult. I'm not good at keeping myself accountable or keeping
Mhm.
myself disciplined. So I know I will start eating out more and not preparing as much food if I were just handling myself. But because I have a partner, someone to cook for, someone to like worry about and think about, and I'm like, hey, this person deserves better than just eating McDonald's every day. I can't just have McDonald's every day. So it's an added extra layer of me to like put in that extra effort. So I would 100%. I'd be like, yo, Jordan, you got an old person next door to you or something that you can cook that triple crust pizza for?
No, I walk by the windows of the old people near me, and I smell cooking coming from theirs. And I'm like, I kind of
I
want
was gonna say you need to get this
to
two-way
knock
street.
and see if I can get in on their cooking. I'll just give them my company in exchange for some food.
Well, and I know for me, I'm weird in that type of thing. So when I was in college, and this is our last topic, lunch with the boys. Thanks for joining us. We're gonna be live tomorrow. One of the things that I studied in college was oral histories. So oral histories are basically going up to someone, having them tell you a story from their perspective, recording it, transcribing it, and then being able to hold that history. So, for example, on 9/11, we have an entire library of dedicated recordings of survivors, people who were in the rubble, people who helped do the clearing away, of actual oral histories of people who went through all of 9/11. We have oral histories of the recordings of phone calls made from the building at the time. So there's all of this like oral history surrounding it. And I love that aspect of history. History is what I
Mhm.
got my degree in. One of the things that I wanted to do, and one of the ideas that I think if you are in my bracket, if you have parents, grandparents who are in their 50s, 60s, getting later in life, do this. Set up a camera, set up a recording device, come up with a page of 10, 20, 30 questions, and go and ask them for their life story. Because no one is asking old people their life story. And hell, you sitting there listening to me talk right now, you want someone to sit there and ask you questions about your life. You do. You
Mhm.
want to talk about yourself. We are
Yeah.
all inherently selfish. We do care about others, but we want to talk about ourselves.
Yeah.
We want to talk about our experiences, about our life, and what we went through. So if you've got an older person in life, take a phone video, set it up on a tripod, position it on a wall, whatever it might be, and just record you having an hour, 2 hour, 3 hour long conversation with this person.
But
And
no,
if you can do it without a phone, do it on something else. So you can put it on a hard drive and actually have like a recording. It'd be phenomenal. But I guarantee you that old person will never forget that until, they do.
yeah. What I'm realizing as you're saying this, I'm like racking my head, like, what old person could I do this for? I'm like, I don't really have a lot of old people in my life anymore, like I used to. Um, but the way that goes.
Yeah.
Um,
Which, yeah, it is
like,
it is very difficult when the older people in your life do
yeah,
just
I'm
age.
just trying to think of anybody, like any gray heads in my life right now. Like in my
Well,
there's like my Friday gig boss, but like I don't even really like him that
so
much.
what I would do, and I'll be real, do it with your mom and dad and just have that recording and then give it to your brother. Like if you took a recording of your mom and is like, "Hey, I spent 2 hours talking with mom and I asked her all of these questions and I had her just tell me stories." I guarantee you your brother would want to have that for forever. And I guarantee you you're going to want that forever too. And maybe that's not saying do it now and like plan whatever. Do it
Yeah,
now, do it again in 10 years.
yeah,
Compare them. Like you're not going to ever be upset to have that.
yeah.
And it's never going to be a waste of time to do. So it's one of those things I always recommend everyone take the time to do. And if you do have gray heads in your life, that almost sounds like a slur, by the
It
way.
does, doesn't
Gray
it?
heads. Like that I don't
It
feel
might
good
be.
saying
I
that.
don't know. I just made it up on the spot. It's as much a slur as anything you just improv say
Oh,
can be.
well, any of the gray heads out there, go interact with them, cook them meals, do some interviews. If they start saying some crazy shit to you, try not to let it
Cut it
get to you because they were alive in the 70s and apparently that was what they said in the 70s. But with that said, we are definitely over time here, man. Any
off.
final words? Did I cut off anything you had to say, Jordan?
No, get out there and grind.
Get out there and grind. Get out there and see your
Not too much.
family. Make sure that you're spending time doing both and taking care of yourself.
Yeah.
Remember, you can't grind if you're dead. So don't do that. And if you're new here, we are Good Rep Media. My name is Cody. This is Jordan. We're both part of Good Rep Media, a small business marketing agency. If you own a small business, if you're interested in starting a small business, if you know someone who owns a small business and needs some help online, definitely have them reach out to us. Go to goodrep.media. You can schedule a chat with me anytime. I offer free 30-minute consultations, and we get you ranked on Google. We can build a website. We can get your reputation up, do all of that fun stuff. But hey, thanks so much for joining us on this Joey Matterhorn Live. Hope to see you tomorrow at noon on the Good Rep Media YouTube channel, where we're going to be talking about Amazon. And is Amazon stealing your Christmas? They might be. Pro tip, they are, actually. Almost all Christmas shopping goes through them.
That's crazy.
Anyways,
Stealing it because they just delivered it.
I was going to say, they stole it from, everywhere else and brought it here. Anyways, we'll see you guys tomorrow on the Good Rep channel. Thanks so much.